But it was great leaving the studio to go to dinner. We're having our dinner cooked at one of the houses down the road, down this long track. It wasn't that long actually, it was a really nice walk. So every day we were starting the day with a walk up the hill and ending the day with a walk down. And at many times the walk down was quite adrenalising because it was pitch black.
And I've been locked down, and I know we're through, but I can't begin to face up to the truth. I wait so long for the walls to crack, but I know that I will one day have you back.
The thing is that it was different this time, as having four-piece as we went down with Mark and both of us playing guitar on all of the tracks. That was really good for me.
Was it good
so
for
I'm
you,
used to
mate?
having to hold the chords down and sing at the same time, and the sound was just fuller immediately.
I remember one day Greg, the engineer, decided to get some radio microphones and take them across to the other side of the valley. And he set up these microphones on this house up the other side of the valley. And we put some amplifiers outside and started listening to this huge delay from across the valley that went for about 5 seconds. I remember we listened to that for quite a while, a couple of hours, until we sort of decided
realised that it just didn't work.
You know. Every song basically went on a little journey from how it was written. Some of them ended up completely differently. Black and White Boy being a case in point, which started off as a very sensitive little ballad and ended up as quite a our little tribute to glam. We had to change songs midday some days because the weather would just change so dramatically. You just had to get into it. Yeah. On a day like today, you had to get into a real moody one.
Together alone, above and beneath.
We had one day where we, right at the end of the project, where we got the 30-piece Maori choir and a brass band and Tongan log drummers out.
Tied them all up.
And wrote a piece of music specially for that. Cook Island log drummers. Mark took the brass band down to the house. I worked with the choir up at the studio. Paul went and organised the log drummers.
It was an incredibly emotional day because the choir cut loose in the middle of the day and just started singing a whole lot of songs for the occasion. And they brought their families and children. There was about 200, 300 odd people around the studio. Big barbecue and hundreds of people on the lawn. So, you know, it was very different, very emotional, that part of the day, or that part of the session.
My life is a house. You crawl through the window, slip across the floor and into the reception room. You enter the place of endless persuasion.
We've never mixed anything in Melbourne before. We've always ended up mixing overseas, mostly in Los Angeles. But Bob Clearmountain said he would come down to Melbourne this time, and he was more than happy to use all the equipment there. And he came down for about 2 weeks and mixed everything really quickly, and it sounded wonderful as usual.
On a burning beach, and it brings me relief.
So thank you, Bob, for your incredible endurance session of 14 days straight and 15 mixes.
Leave me alone, will you?
Oh, he just wouldn't leave us alone.
No,
ringing us up. And
he needs us. He really needs us to prop him up nowadays. It's a bit sad, really.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
he's very keen to come out.
No, we needed somebody to organise us because we had all these ideas on tape and we'd left things fairly loose. So
That's true.
Bob is a master of organisation. He's the most focused, concentrated person I've ever encountered. Very quick. The mix, most of the mixes took 6 or 7 hours, and he went through all the tracks that of you know, wild sounds and weird things that we'd left on, and left most of them off. You know.
It's a tight squeeze, but I won't let go. Time is on the table and the dinner's
off our clothes and we had to swim in the waterfall, and then we sat at that bench and we sort of thought, isn't this odd way to start the record?
Being here was an end in itself in a way. It was a really memorable, amazing time. And it almost took it away from being just a job of work to make an album. It made it more of an all-round sensory experience. It'll be more special for us than what, you know, even whatever ends up happening to the record will mean. This time is etched into us, etched into our souls.